The most psychologically honest portrayals of love are in cartoons. Don't believe me? Take a look at these shows. They have spent years mapping out the entire messy journey from desperate crushes to actual healthy relationships. And they do it more clearly than most adult content because animation heightens the patterns and shows the consequences without getting bogged down in realism. They are patterns that you recognize in your own life that explain why some relationships crash and burn while others just work. Stick around to find out why. Let's start at level 1, where almost everyone starts, with wanting someone who doesn't want you back. Level 1, Unrequited love and obsessive crushing. It's painfully relatable because we've all kind of been here. The definitive cartoon example is Finn and Princess Bubblegum in Adventure Time. For the first 3 seasons, Finn is completely smitten in love with PB. He keeps a wad of her hair as a prized possession. He reads romantic intent into every interaction they have. Everything he does is to win over her love. When she's temporarily aged down to 13, she actually kind of reciprocates for a brief moment. They hang out, they kiss, it seems like it's happening. Then she reverts to her adult self and the door closes, telling him to move on. Finn doesn't move on. After everything he's been through, he just can't. So he falls into a genuine depression over her rejection, singing a song about being stuck on someone who doesn't love him back. Get it? He's made out of gum and he's stuck on her? But the most emotionally raw moment comes when he actually does finally move on, or so he thinks. When Finn has moved on to dating Flame Princess, PB expresses scientific concern about the elemental danger of their relationship, cause if they kiss, the Earth could burn down to its core. Finn completely misreads this as her being jealous and explodes at her.
I was in love with you, okay? And you didn't love me back!
I wish I could play some more footage from that scene as it is awesome, but well, copyright, so go watch it yourself. This is the perfect illustration of level 1 behavior. The person you're obsessing over becomes a canvas for your unmet needs. And the reason it hurts so much when they don't love you back is all because of, well, you. You obsessed so much over this person, shaped your identity to be something that they have to fall in love with. If that person still rejects you after all of that, what does that say about you and your value to them and to yourself? Finn here is the archetype of a teenager who can't handle rejection. And the scary part is how long it actually takes him to process this and move forward and away, but we'll get to that later. For now, just recognize the pattern of idealizing a crush, misreading friendliness as affection, shaping your identity around them to be worthy of their love, and being unable to accept that no means no. Which brings us to level 2, the level where things get, you'll see. These are the characters who chase, manipulate, scheme, and sometimes threaten. The line between romantic pursuit and stalking completely disappears. The most chilling example, I think, is Gideon from Gravity Falls. A self-proclaimed child psychic who manipulates Mabel into dates using his status as a local celebrity, all to make it impossible for her to say no. The whole town is watching. How do you reject someone when everyone expects you to say yes?
If she says no, I'll die from sadness.
I can verify that that will indeed happen.
When Dipper tries to break up with him on Mabel's behalf, Gideon straight up tries to murder Dipper over a breakup. Gideon even kidnaps Mabel in a giant robot and declares that she's destined to be his queen. See the desperation here? The show uses him as a direct opposite to Dipper. Both of them experience unrequited feelings. Both of them are crushing on someone who doesn't feel the same way. But Dipper eventually accepts Wendy's rejection and they stay friends. Gideon refuses to accept rejection and becomes violent. This is the nice guy archetype turned into a literal villain. The person who genuinely believes the other person loves them, but just doesn't know it yet, and they'll know it eventually, right? In his mind, he's the hero of this romance story. In reality, he's the reason Mabel needs a restraining order. There is something very uncomfortable about level 2, and it's not always this extreme. Sometimes you might relate to real life because these people really do exist everywhere and they don't see themselves as the bad guy. Sometimes they respond with anger or jealousy or other negative behaviors. They'll think that they're being romantic to begin with, and if they just try hard enough, the other person will finally realize that they're meant to be together. But persistence isn't romantic when the other person has already said no, once, twice, or more. At that point, you're just an asshole ignoring someone else's boundaries because your need to be chosen is more important than their comfort. You're idealizing them as your partner, something to be owned. And that's the difference between level 1 and level 2. Level 1 suffers quietly, level 2 makes everyone else suffer. Which brings us to level 3, when desperate pursuit actually works. Wait, can it actually work? Well, wait and see. The most sophisticated portrayal of this in animation is Cartman and Heidi Turner in South Park, seasons 20 and 21. It starts sweet, both quit social media, they bond over it, and Cartman genuinely seems different. He calls Heidi smart and funny, something he never calls any woman. The show even makes you think that maybe Cartman can change, maybe love can fix him. And then Heidi starts getting recognition for her intelligence. Elon Musk offers her a role in his company, and Cartman feels threatened. Because, well, this woman being smart and funny line, it always sounded a bit white knighty, didn't it? So he starts with a textbook example of abuse, deploying this manipulation tactic called DARVO: deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. He accuses Heidi of being mentally abusive when she calls out his behavior, and then makes himself the victim. Heidi wants out of it, so she tries to break up with him. And remember that DARVO tactic? Well, Cartman leaves a voicemail threatening to kill himself if she doesn't take him back, once again turning himself into the victim. It's one of the most uncomfortable scenes in the entire series because it's actually really accurate to how abusers operate. Suicide threats turn into control tactics, leaving the other person to choose between having someone else's death on their hands or staying with this person who they partly love but who abuses them and who uses their emotions against them. Heidi doesn't want to take that risk and takes him back. And from there on out, the manipulation just gets worse. Cartman feeds her KFC disguised as vegan food to make her gain weight. He teaches her his anti-Semitic views, he isolates her from her friends, and he gaslights her if she ever does something that isn't okay in his eyes, which is many, many things. By the end, Heidi has become a mirror of Cartman. Fat, cruel, and obnoxious. Hooray, toxic relationships. But it's not the end for Heidi. The escape comes when, after more abuse, Cartman threatens suicide again, and this time Heidi doesn't fall for it. She walks away. And by the next season, she's lost the weight, the anger, and anything that made her the female Cartman, and she returned back to her normal self. We have to give props to South Park for the lesson here. They spent 2 full seasons showing the cycle of emotional abuse in excruciating detail. Every tactic Cartman uses, gaslighting, DARVO, suicide threats, isolation, making the victim doubt their own reality, making her gain weight, and making her crueler, it's all pulled straight from the abuser playbook. I've never really understood why when I was young, but when we were researching this video, okay, and maybe from some of our other videos, we actually figured this out. So, toxic relationships often contain real feelings. Like, they're not going to be in that relationship if they don't have some genuine affection for them. Heidi genuinely loved Cartman at first, and even partially throughout, and that's what makes it so difficult to leave. When you're in an abusive relationship, you genuinely have love for the other person sometimes, and that makes the choice to leave sometimes very difficult. Heidi remembered when their relationship was good, thinking that if she can just fix whatever is going wrong, it'll go back to how it was. Maybe it's her fault that things are this way. But no, that's not how it works. So that toxicity is left in level 3. But when we get to level 4, we actually leave the relationships behind for a bit. Yeah, I know that's a bit odd for a video about relationships, but bear with me, because leaving relationships behind is what you have to do before finding a real, long-lasting one. Level 4, Situationships and the fear of choosing. You're not in an abusive relationship with another person, neither are you chasing or something else. You're just stuck in something undefined, unable to commit, hurting yourself and other people along the way. The definitive example is Mordecai's love triangle in Regular Show. Mordecai spends way too much time visiting the coffee shop daily, but he's too nervous to ask Margaret out. When she finally leaves for college, he's devastated. He had years and wasted them. So he rebounds with CJ, and CJ is perfect for him. Chemistry, shared interests, she's into him. This should work. Then, at Eileen's Christmas party, Mordecai and Margaret reminisce and accidentally kiss. And classic cartoon style, CG sees it and drives off heartbroken. They reconcile, and he promises to do better. Then he fucks it up again at a wedding. He hijacks the mic to dump CJ in a public speech about his lingering feelings for Margaret. Even his best friend Rigby has to tell him off. In that same episode, Rigby casually mentions that he and Eileen have been dating for 3 months. Mordecai didn't even notice. While Mordecai's love life is loud and destructive, Rigby's is something else that's reserved for the ultimate level of cartoon relationships. Level 4 here reveals a core fear that we all share. Choosing means losing possibilities. It means settling. What if you commit and someone better comes along? So you stay in this undefined space, keeping your options open. But indecision is still a decision. You're choosing to hurt people, including yourself, wasting theirs and your time because you want to live in the comfort zone, even though you're never actually comfortable there either. And eventually, your situationship, your partner, figures this out and leaves, or it develops into a worse type of relationship. There's another deep love lesson hidden in the regular show, so please let me know if you'd like for us to make a video on it by commenting down below. But now, let's get to level 5, the one truly without a relationship. Level 5, Heartbreak as Teacher. You've been through the previous levels, hopefully you've skipped a couple or more, and you've been broken by them, and now you're forced to actually deal with yourself. It's uncomfortable, it's humiliating, and it's necessary if you want to improve and actually be worthy of a partner. No one reaches the healthy levels without passing through here first. The perfect example of level 5 is Butters. Butters is one of my favorite characters in South Park, such a naive, pure, innocent child who doesn't know anything and messes things up, but he tries his best. So here he goes to this Hooters parody restaurant called Raisins and develops a crush on one of the waitresses. She's nice to him, she calls him sweetheart, and she gives him her number. He thinks it's real, but it's not. She's just working for tips, and not the kind of tip that Butter would like to give her later, hey. When he realizes exactly that, he's devastated. The goth kids find him crying and invite him to join them, embracing the pain to become bitter and angry at the world. And Butters says this,
Well, yeah, and I'm sad. But at the same time, I'm really happy that something can make me feel that sad. It's like, it makes me feel alive, you know?
He also says a lot more, but again, copyright, so go watch the original. His speech is beautiful. It's actually so beautiful that Stan, who's been wallowing with the goth kids the entire episode, pauses and realizes that he's right. The show's most naive character delivers this healthy, emotional insight. Butters accepts heartbreak as proof that something beautiful existed, similar to how some people deal with grief. The fact that you're feeling sad is because you felt something for another person and it didn't work out, and now you need to work on yourself and understand yourself better, and hey, that's tough and life's tough. But the fact that you can feel sad, that you can feel yourself and improve, is also amazing and also beautiful. This is the entire thesis of this video. Hell, this might be the thesis of this entire YouTube channel. Learning lessons of cartoons, of life, of yourself, of how to improve, of how to love others and yourself. So no, you cannot skip this level. You can't go from toxic patterns to healthy relationships without actually processing what went wrong. You have to sit with the discomfort. You have to ask yourself why you seem to end up in shouting matches, or why other people seem to avoid you, or why this perhaps nice guy routine isn't working so well, or many other reasons. You have to feel the full weight of the heartbreak and go from there. And most importantly, you have to learn from that, which is exactly what level 6 is all about. After you've sat down and processed the pain and done some work on yourself, you can finally start to build something that actually lasts. But again, it requires something that most people try to avoid. Let me show you. The best example of this is Marceline and Princess Bubblegum back in Adventure Time. Their relationship is built over 10 seasons, and maybe the HBO special as well, because that really gave us additional context. PB and Marcy used to date, then they had a fight, and they held a grudge for centuries. Only vulnerability and communication could fix that. There's this episode where the most precious items are stolen from our beloved AT characters. PB's stolen item is revealed to be a rock shirt that Marceline gave her. She kept it and sleeps in it every night. Years of slow reconciliation follow from this. In Skywitch, PB sacrifices that shirt, the thing that she's kept for years, to recover Marceline's childhood teddy bear. In Varmints, PB breaks down crying, admitting her obsession with control and how it pushed Marceline away. Marceline watches over her as she falls asleep on her shoulder. By the finale, when a monster nearly kills Bubblegum, Marceline's anger and desperation causes her vampire essence to turn her into her dark cloud form, and she pummels the monster into a mushy pile of candy people. Then she rushes over to PB, who was still laying motionless on the ground.
I was so afraid something bad would happen to you, and I wouldn't be there to protect you, and I don't want to lose you again.
And they kiss. What makes this level 6 is that both characters grew independently before reconnecting. You know, exactly what level 5 was all about. Princess Bubblegum had to learn to be vulnerable, to admit her faults, and to admit to herself and to Marcy that she doesn't and can't have control over everything. Marceline had to learn to express her feelings without anger, to risk being hurt again, and to show affection without the sarcasm. But if this is level 6, what's level 7? It's love built on mutual respect, genuine connection, and the willingness to show up consistently through the ups and downs. Remember how Mordecai didn't notice his best friend's relationship? This is their tier. Eileen had an obvious crush on Rigby from their first meeting. Rigby initially found her annoying. In early seasons, going on a date with her was treated as a humiliating favor he owed Mordecai. But there's a good contrast here. Eileen never chased Rigby desperately. She never changed who she was to make him like her. She was just patient, intelligent, and self-respecting. She had her own life. That's the first 5 levels for you already checked off. She already went through her own journey. In turn, Rigby gradually warmed to her. He grew up enough to see what was right in front of him. Their first on-screen kiss is in the series finale, as far as I'm aware, and they get married. They have 2 daughters. It's a wonderful relationship. Fans have a saying, Eileen fell for him first, Rigby fell harder next. That's level 7. Choosing someone every day. Sticking with them even if maybe they're not right, but not pushing it, not forcing it, not changing yourself to be something that they would want. Some of the best relationships start as friendships. They grow slowly. They don't generate dramatic storylines because healthy love is actually sometimes kind of boring to watch. But it's what everyone is actually looking for. All 7 of these levels come down to one core principle. You have to become a person who loves yourself before anyone else will love you like you need. Relationships don't work if you only love the other person. If you're still struggling with that part, click here to learn how you can work on that. And hey, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate everything that all of our watchers assist us with, liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, and this channel means a lot to me and to everyone behind the scenes, and I'm sure it means a lot to many of our watchers, and I'm really looking forward to being part of this channel and being part of your lives for the foreseeable future. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace, everyone.